Hello, everyone. This is Mark Anthony on the AI Edge Promotions, the show that brings you the best of the best doctors in their niche and their superpower. Today, we're going to be talking about something really close to not just my heart, because I've been helped out with this, but we're going to be talking about back and, of course, what, neuropathy pain?
Neuropathy, pain, chronic pain.
Yes, and chronic pain. And guess what? A pain-free life begins when, guys? Today. And this doctor who is Dr. Christian Nelson is about a pain-free life. And guess what? The title of this, you guys want to be really pay attention to this, is getting people out of stubborn pain now. And not just that. How many of you have felt like I've tried everything and nothing seems to work? I mean, I've gone to the doctor that gives me the pills, that gives me the pills of the pills of the pills of the pills, and I'm keep getting this higher dosage. And next, you know, by the end of the year, I've got about 25 pills that I'm paying for, non-pun Medicare. And of course, you know, we all love Medicare. That is a joke. But without that being said, we are here to help people. And what I love about Dr. Christian is he's not only a man that looks at where the pain is. So if you go to him and say, I got back pain, he's going to look at the whole entire body. He's not going to just go look at the back. Why? Because the entire body is the centricity of it's all connected together. And sometimes you might think you got back pain, but it's your knee or it's your leg. So with that being said, you can also find Dr. Christian Nelson at Keller-Chiro.com, Keller-Chiro.com. Why wait? So today, if you can just let us know a little bit about your background, Dr. Christian, and the surrounding areas that you help people. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. So I've been in practice for almost 6 years here in Keller. I love helping people with really stubborn pain that won't go away, pain where people say, I've tried everything. I've gone to see everybody. I've tried everything I know of. I'm at my wit's end. I'm doctor number 12, number 20, number 30, sometimes number 40. I think the highest number I was in that list, I think I was doctor number 43 for a while. And so I have a different way of looking at the body. I'm a chiropractor by training, but I help people by providing devices they can use at home. I want to save people money. I want to empower them. I'll recommend supplements. I'll help walk them through lifestyle things, help teach them how to exercise properly for their goals. So it goes much more beyond just the pop and the crunch. So yes, will I provide those treatments? Yes, absolutely. But then I look at the body as far as like, hey, how do I help support you? How do I get you to the goals that you want? And if at any point I feel like someone else is a better fit for your care, I tell you exactly who that is.
Wow, that's amazing. So let's go dig in a little bit about people that you've noticed that are just trying to get through the pain. They're being stubborn and they're not moving. And what message would you say to people like that on those terms?
I admire you. You are finding the courage to pick yourself up. It might not be pretty, but you're carrying on every single day. Even if you don't have light at the end of the tunnel. And there's some small flicker of hope that keeps you moving, evidently, but you're still picking yourself up and you're like, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this, but there's some trust. And you're dealing with a lot of unknowns and a lot of pain. And I've lived in chronic pain, especially when I was a teenager, had a lot of health challenges in my life. And so I just want to say, I admire you. And the next thing I'd say is help is possible.
Wow. When you in your clinic, what would you say that you're seeing people coming to you and that you're seeing a major change? Like let's kind of just start maybe a little bit with the back. You know, I'm sure you've got some back stories, maybe that could relate to some of the people out there that are going through that.
Yeah, I have, oh my gosh, how many stories? I got a chance to see one of my patients and friends actually, yesterday. This guy was in the army for a while and he was dealing with back spasms. He had to use a cane to walk. He could basically only walk 100 yards. He couldn't take his kids to concerts. He couldn't lift them and hold them. And they're like, you know, somewhere in the 5 to 9 age range, while this was going on. And after a couple of treatments, adjusting, working on the muscles, taking a look at the whole body approach, working on his neck and his back and his hips, especially, he hung his cane up on my wall of fame.
Shut up.
And that, yeah, no, wow. I think it was like treatment 3. He walks in, and I didn't know who it was. At that point, like I had a hallway that led back to my office. I didn't know who it was because I didn't recognize the hobble that he'd come in on the first 2. And it was so distinctive. I knew that was Carrie. And then after on his 3rd visit, I just hear these steps. I'm like, I don't know those steps. And he pops in the door. I'm, well, hello. And he says, Doc, I believe I owe you a cane. And it's still on the wall. And it's not, that wall of fame is not for my fame. It's to give God the glory and to give the people hope. These are the people who go before you, who have dealt with issues just like you, who have found healing to the point that they can abandon the cane on my office wall. There's a wheelchair wheel on the wall. There's a walker, a tennis ball from the walker. The walker's too bulky.
Yeah.
And 3 canes on that wall.
Wow, that's amazing. And everyone, I want you guys to hear something. If you're listening to Dr. Nelson, he said something very interesting. He mentioned the God. Those of you, if you don't believe it, that's between you and God and whatever you believe in. But I want to say something to you. God gave us these 2 hands to heal, and our body was created to heal very much. And when he's think about this, you have a man that believes in God, the best energy that goes through those hands to help you. And we all, whether we believe in God or not, we always talk about energy, and it does matter. You know, there's an old saying, you get an avocado, you cut it in half. They're both fresh. You put one in a room, you have Metallica music playing for about a week. You don't visit it. And then you have the other one with a little bit of Frank Sinatra, more positive. You come back to it a week later, you got one that's dark, the one that was with Metallica. And then the other one that had good vibes, good energy. It was still fresh looking. That's how we are. Our words have power. I'm sorry. Go ahead. And so the next thing would be, I love that you've got you call it the walk of what?
Oh, the fame.
Wall of Fame. So when you hear stories like that, how does that make you feel as a doctor? I mean, I could never know how that feels. Like, how does that make you feel knowing that you're able to help people that felt like they couldn't be helped and they were stubborn and they were like, I've gone everywhere and now I can see clearly now.
I think you hit so many nails on the head in that one question. It's beautiful. We're just before this, we were talking about my favorite holiday being Christmas, and it's not because of the gifts I receive, but it's about that spark of hope of watching somebody go through the experience. Like when I get to participate in a patient case and I get to help them, either it's they came to see me or they're referred from another doctor I'm co-managing. When I get to see the light turn on in their eyes when they realize I don't have to live with this issue anymore, this pain, this restriction, this limitation, and their brain starts, the wheels start turning and they start calculating, wait, my life can look like this again, and my life can look at that again. I have a lady who walked in today. She says, I never thought in my born days I would get my foot back again.
Wow.
And her brain is cranking there. All of the walks she's going to be able to take with her kids. She's not going to have to use her left foot to drive anymore. She's going to be able to balance. She's going to be able to run again. Imagine how much just the ability to run again would affect absolutely everything in your life, and how much that was limiting her from having lost that ability, and how much else that's not related to exercise, balance, climbing, hiking, going outdoors, trusting yourself. It's not just a foot.
Wow.
It's a life. It's a person. And so if I had to sum that up, I get to participate in miracles every single day. And it's not my power that flows through me. I mean, if I tried to heal someone by my own power, I'd be good for about 3 healings and then I'd be a husk. I'm not interested in that. My wife would object on the strongest terms. She'd be very upset with me if I did that. So I have to work on myself and help people clearly see where they are, clearly see the target, and help them understand that I can get you from A to B. And that's that simplicity, that clarity is maybe one of the most healing things about how I try to run my practice.
Wow, I love that. So right now, what would you say out of from people that you're helping out with back pain, neuropathy, lower back pain, hip, knees, what would you say that you're seeing the most of right now and currently in your practice of people coming in, like maybe 90%, 70%?
I'd say it's probably closer to 50, 60% neck pain.
Oh, wow.
Really, really stubborn neck pain. Close behind that is SI pain. So right where your tailbone meets your pelvis.
Wow.
Very stubborn. People bend forward and they get a sharp stabbing pain, or they're trying to stand straighten up, but it's like they're just like having to force it, like it's slow, stiff, it's not moving, and good luck holding any kind of weight out in front of you. Like kids cleaning dishes, doing the laundry, all of those things become just really problematic.
Wow. What comes to your mind? Like, have you ever had somebody that came into your practice and you were even like, yeah, I don't know if I can help this person. And it was a case where you were like, I don't think I can help this person, but I'm going to give it a shot. And then you saw that that person got better. Can you maybe talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So yes and no. The when there's someone I cannot help, it's either because they have a condition that won't respond well to what I do. They do exist. Uh, or there's a disconnection.
Uh-huh.
There, I'm not everyone's cup of tea. Like I'll be very upfront about that. I'm not for everyone. And I'm not offended if someone's like, hey doc, like I really appreciate your time, but I don't feel like this is a fit, because I know that they're going to heal best in under the care and the attention of a doctor who they feel connected to. And if they're not feeling that connection, then it's both of ours duty to speak up and say, hey, this is not working really well. Let's get you under someone else's care where you will get your best outcomes. And so we have to stay stubborn about and like really dedicated to that goal. Um, but what I can say is that every condition can improve with proper, holistic, loving care. The question is this the best for you? And when you've been, if you're a patient and I heard this from someone else, another patient of mine who has been given up on by so many doctors, dozens. They've reached the end of their rope, they've reached the end of their expertise, and there's no blame here. But from the patient's perspective, it feels horrible to have a doctor say, "Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry."
Wow.
Need
Okay.
time, treasure, invested yourself emotionally.
Mhm.
Become like, all right, here we go. Once more. Like, what is it? Once more into the gap.
Mhm. I love what you're saying though, because it makes sense. And what I love the beauty of it is, some doctors will just take somebody on and they even know that they can't help them, but they're like, okay, well, maybe. What I hear you saying is, you know what? I know my superpowers. I know my strengths. And sometimes when somebody comes to your office, they're already way too far. And that's okay to say, you know what? Hey, I recommend maybe going over here. That's why we're a body in the chiropractic care where we all help each other. We all have certain strengths. So I'm gonna twist that question just a little bit.
Sure.
How about one that you took somebody on and you were 50-50? You're like, I don't know. But then next, it became amazing. Like it just, you know what I mean? You went from 50-50 to 100 because you're like, wow, it actually worked. And
Mm,
maybe I'm sure you had some doubt where like, I don't know if this is going to work, but I think it could, but maybe we need to give it a shot. And then you saw that it worked on that person. Do you remember what that story was of that person that came in?
no, but I haven't had something like that where I was in doubt of whether or not it would work. But I have been hugely surprised by the amount of improvement that they saw.
Okay.
So I was expecting like maybe 10, 20, 30% improvement. And this person got so much better so fast. That
Wow.
up and I'm every once in a while they're, what I term miracle adjustments,
Uh-huh.
where someone recovers way faster than expected.
Mhm.
And that's super cool. But no, to answer your question, no, there are no situations that are not improved by chiropractic. If you have
Okay.
a spinal fracture, we need to adjust away from the fracture. I'm not going to but your body will heal better if the rest of it is properly adjusted. We're going to be careful. We're going to be mindful. That would be a very extreme example. Um, you can, it's rare. Things could be made worse by chiropractic improperly applied. The same is true of any tool.
Mhm.
But properly applied, careful, loving chiropractic care makes every situation, every healing effort better.
I love that. Do you feel like chiropractic is starting to get a lot more, I'll back that up a little bit, a lot more exposure and more people are starting to say, hey, I need to go to a chiropractor? Or do you feel like there's a little bit less people that are going to chiropractors and they're just going to the big box doctors?
Um, I feel like there's getting a lot more recognition. People are um, not necessarily getting the best look at it, depending. The online situation with chiropractic is very intriguing because it's sensational.
Mhm.
The sensational adjustments, the adjustments of someone wearing something maybe suggestive, or the big crunch, the amplified pops and crunch sounds, like where they put a microphone right by the neck and then you hear this thing in your earbuds. You're like, oh, it's a lot of people get to see it, and what they don't realize is that it is amplified, or that you know maybe this chiropractor is not the most upstanding person. It happens. We have our fair share of folks like that, and that the vast majority of chiropractors are really, really good and fairly humble and
Mhm.
all provide an experience like that. There's a wide variety of chiropractic, so it's getting a lot more looks. And on the positive side, though, we can provide an experience and we can provide documentation of our treatments in a way that no one else can. PT is very boring to watch. PTs do great and very important and amazing work. And filling your prescription is not exactly the most exciting thing you can do. It's not like, oh my goodness, I left the doctor's office with my prescription and I feel so much better. If you really need a prescription, it can be life changing and just like help people so much. So, you know, hats off to all of the good doctors out there, getting people off as many medications as they can and helping them with the right ones. That takes skill. So my hat's off there. Um, but chiropractic shows up on a screen in a really dramatic way. And it can be fun to film. It can be fun to capture people's responses. And when people get in there, like, I have all this pain and aches and stuff like that, and they get up off the table after the crunch pop and all of that, and they stand there and they're like, I feel so much lighter.
Wow.
Can feel my foot again. Look at how this range of motion I got back on my shoulder after you did the muscle work. Whatever the case may be, it's it's really cool, and that's something that very few other healing professions can provide. I think the ones that come the closest might be massage. You watch someone massage, and you can almost feel like that warmth and the pressure going over your back, and you're sitting there going, "Oh God, I need that."
Yeah.
I think they're probably the closest as far as their ability to provide just a video of like what treatment looks like.
Yeah, I can't go without chiropractic. I don't understand how people do. You know, it's funny. You do need an adjustment. Your body's like a vehicle. It needs adjustment. The way we sit down, sometimes maybe we're carrying things wrong. Maybe we slept wrong. And that happens a lot, because people are using those big pillows that are getting us out of adjustment right away. It's funny when I sleep with a pillow, it's literally like a real like thin. Not even a pillow.
You back sleep or side sleep?
I back sleep, so I put it under my neck,
No.
so I'm up. And then sometimes, I want to side sleep, but I always have to recorrect myself.
Can I jump in and provide a tip for your listeners?
Please.
So you want to solve for a neutral spine when you sleep. So you're talking about big pillows. Big pillows aren't a problem if you side sleep,
Really?
because you got to fill this space.
Hmm.
And if you back sleep, you don't have a huge space to fill. So you want a thin pillow. But if you're side sleeping and you have a thin pillow, your head's going to be kinked up like this.
Ah.
You can't have too big of a pillow if you side sleep, and then your head's kinked up like this.
Right.
And you're laying that way for 8 hours. That's going to mess with things.
Here.
I'm finding that right balance depending on the mattress and how you sleep, how big your shoulders are, that depth kind of from your ear towards where the mattress ends up. That's something you got to find for yourself. I usually recommend going to place that sells cheaper pillows just to find out what firmness is right for you. Get like a couple of 10, 12, $15 pillows. Get like 2 or 3 of them. Sleep on it for a couple of nights. See which one you like best, and then go invest in the nice pillow that has that level of firmness. So before you spend $150 on a pillow only to find out this is a side sleeping pillow and I like sleeping on my back, go try the cheap pillows.
I like that. And if the pillow doesn't work out, well, just use it for your leg.
Yeah.
It's a win-win, you
Use it
know?
on the guest bed.
Exactly. Wow. So, wow, this was amazing. And again, I just want to say thank you so much, Dr. Christian Nelson at Keller-Chiro.com, Keller-Chiro.com. The phone number is on the screen for everyone. And remember, guys, you know, if you have back pain, neuropathy pain, if you go to Dr. Chiro, I'm all Dr. Chiro, Keller-Chiro.com, he focuses on a pain-free life. And that begins today. So don't give up. Don't be stubborn. And before we leave, give us a little, maybe a tidbit to the audience on joining you at your practice.
Absolutely. So right now we have a discounted new patient consult and examination. I'm going to sit down with you and listen to every word you have to say. Like I said earlier, if at any point I feel like someone else is a better fit for your care, I'll tell you exactly who that is. And if at the end of that consultation and exam, I still believe I'm capable of helping you, I'll show you your results. I'll map it to your symptoms and explain why you've been feeling the way you feel. And then I'll show you what it would take to get you better in the way that you care about getting better. Let's give you your life back.
I love it. And again, thank you so much for being here. You're a blessing, my friend.
Proud and honored to be here, sir.
All right. Take it easy.